We are live, and I think I have a very dirty lens. That's the wrong side of the phone. It's way better. Way better. It's like the room was foggy, and now it are not. Okay, let's get set up here. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. How about chat? Hope everybody is having a great night.
Kitty.
Oh, Kirk got his box today. Hello, Tutworks. Okay, so Ross is asking what am I doing today? I have to add blood to the shark's mouth because that is what was required, bloody shark maw. And I was planning on painting up this carnivore, trimming and painting and getting it ready for a customer. And I have a bear mask to finish that I haven't finished sculpting. So, because if I don't get the bear finished, then I have to work on it next Wednesday. And I'd rather do something new. It means I got to finish it. I have a bunch of pours in the other room that I did today. And honey, that Gravedigger, he dries in 3 hours. I bet I could get 3 of those out of the mold in a day.
That would be awesome if you did.
It's amazing. So let me do a little bit of cleanification. Mostly organizing. How many people are on?
Well, 29.
29. But I've been on a whole minute. All right. So that's pretty much.
You have to add a pipe to Quint. Yes, a pipe. That was happening in Roadshow. Y'all are bad.
Oh, did I forget to add the pipe? I'll cut a hole on that sucker and put one in there. Let me do that. Here's my wallet and a power drill. Who knew? Gotta get that pipe in there. For some reason I thought it was going to go on a head plaque, but now I know it's going to go on a spear. You notice you can't just drill into these. You actually have to have them pretty stable, or else they'll move around on you and the hole gets too big. So get my hole saw. Hello, everyone. I see lots of hellos happening up there.
Very nice. Hello, hello.
I'm very happy with how Megalodam turned out. He's a fun critter.
You want to show him, Jonesy?
I can. Is he being especially sweet or something?
Yes. I don't know why he's a honey.
Okay. So, my wife says that you guys should see Jonesy, our kitty. Wife, what is that beverage you have?
Well, it's just a little fruit juice so I don't get scurvy.
Fruit juice.
I could get scurvy.
Jonesy is mooning everybody.
Yes, it's Jonesy, our kitty. Yeah, Rob, it's a smoothie. He's a good boy.
This piece is actually garbage
It
anyway.
is garbage.
All right. So now that you see what's happening over at Command Central, so I know that we need to add blood to this shark's mouth. Okay. And I'm going to use a blood recipe that I use kind of fairly often a little bit. But I have to go grab myself some coloring.
It's this kitty.
Okay.
It's a lovey and dummy. Yes, blood, no pipe. FYI, learning from you helped with my post-brain injury therapy. Art of masks is the only thing I can focus on.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's very interesting. Cool. I'm happy I could help. Happy I could help. So I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to be sad, so I don't know why I'm telling you. This is red water stain leather dye from Tandy Leather. But they don't make it anymore in the big bottles, so now you have to get it in little bottles. And while it's one of the best reds I found for blood, like by itself, it also smells amazing. It smells delicious. You smell it?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. It does not smell like chemicals.
No, I'm only kidding.
Doesn't that smell great?
No.
Okay, I think it smells great.
It's
My
just
wife
like
says
a-
that I'm wrong.
No. Alan, how would you go about attaching a foam-filled head to a wooden plaque?
You know how spray foam sticks to everything? I use spray foam. So what I'll often do is I'll put 4-inch screws in or 3-inch screws from the back, and I'll screw it in at a couple contact points and put spray foam around there too to do that, to do more. And I'm going to mix with this red some of the clear high gloss varnish with this red. And that is going to make us a lovely blood for the shark mouth. M-O-U-F, mouth. I'm going to grab myself a fresh brush. This is for white.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. It does not smell like ether. It smells, to me, it smells kind of like candy. It smells good to me.
Okay.
My wife is looking at me strange.
Yeah.
All right, so, but now, what I have mixed up is this very beautiful blood that I'm very much a fan of. So, how much blood are we talking about? Is he a messy eater? Did it dribble all the way down here? Is it just a little bit on his teeth? His mouth is 15% bloody. His mouth is 80% bloody. Which one is it? Shark candy.
Polar bear.
Okay, that's a lot of blood. Got it.
Yep.
And I made sure I set him up here. I don't like it when blood drips go the wrong way. You know, and if I had laid him down, it would be going back this way. I want them to go downward. Okay. That is a good round 1 of blood. And we'll do a round 2 of blood. He looks so much meaner now. And we'll reapply over that a little bit. I think that's kind of nice.
That's going to look freaking amazing. I can't wait to see it all together. It's terrible.
Okay, so let's get it set up for some mask work.
So that was round 1 of blood?
Yes, that was round 1. There will be a round 2, possibly a round 3.
Or this belongs to Spastic Pug.
This will go to Spastic Pug, my wife says. And if that's what she says, and that's what's happening.
What's happening?
I don't know any of that stuff. I just make what she tells me. We talk, we make lists, I do it.
So this is going to be different paint from the original.
Yeah, the first one that I did, I liked it, but its paint job I think was too light. And I want it to be darker so that it'll stand out against the pumpkin mask. I kind of want the pumpkin mask to be different from it.
He's not supposed to.
Oh yeah. Shannon had a cat fall asleep on her, so she's out of commission.
Hello, Scott Colhart.
Hello!
Oh, Michelle tagged us on an unboxing video.
Oh, awesome.
We'll have to watch that, Michelle. Looks like you got your package today.
Several people got theirs
Yeah, a lot
today.
of people got it. It's funny that the receipt said that it should be there on Monday.
You know what? Shipping and mail is just so weird and messed up right now. I think shipping is, unpredictable. We got a package too. I got to go get it. I forgot about it.
Oh, sorry, Sean. Mine says Monday, nothing today.
Maybe that just means you're a little further away from it. So we may go in the other room and pour up some masks here soon. Not pour up, but
Cool.
pull some masks.
You're welcome, Michelle. Appreciate you too.
Isn't
Thank
that
you
nice
so much.
blood? I mean, that's good. Sorry, I was appreciating our blood mix.
I was appreciating Michelle for her support.
Thank you, Michelle, for your support. We're going. Now, when I sculpted this, I wanted this real tattered and uneven bottom of the neck. And you know what? That's a pain to trim, I'm not gonna lie. It's cool, looks cool, but trimming it, I can't just cut a straight line like normal. You've got to go up in all these little nooks and crannies. It sounds like I'm complaining. I guess I am, but not really.
You're complaining. Hey, Alan, how do you prefer to display masks at conventions? What type of head form do you like to put them on? Good question.
Come on. Let's go. I'll show you. We're taking a field trip. See the masks that we did earlier? They're drying. I hope that the Wi-Fi will last out here. We'll see how it do. Okay, so how I display at conventions is that every product, okay, I'm kind of in and out a little bit because I'm at max capacity here at distance, but you can see that there is, you know, on those shelves, you can see that they're head space apart. And then we just, any regular wig head. And the key to the success is these little guys here, which are styrofoam wig head supports. So this goes on the shelf, and then the wig head goes on that. And then I can put the mask on it, and it's not going to tip over, and it works out nice. And everything in my booth is on these metal shelves with wheels. So that the whole, you know, when I'm here, I load up the shelf, pallet wrap it, and then send it on its way. And we show up at the show, we roll everything into place, and then we spend 2 hours, you know, moving around anyway. Because that head looks bigger on the other side, you know, looks better. Here is my new pouring station. There. And over here, eventually I'll get fans mounted all over the ceiling. And over here is a shipping station for the wife to get things shipped out. This is a blank that Shannon has yet to take pictures of. That is a gray alien, is what I calls it. When I finish them, as soon as she's done taking pictures, I'll finish it out. But I screen over the eye holes. And yeah, it's a fun one. And the rest of those are orders. So there you go. That is how I display masks for a show. On a shelf with a head form, with a little stand.
What is the blood mix you use?
Tonight I use the same mix that Ed Edmonds uses. He uses the Latex high gloss varnish with food coloring in it. I use the Liquitex high gloss varnish with red water stained leather dye in it. So there you go.
Do you make a hat, when you make a hat mask, do you put the mask ears where the actual ears are, or in front of them?
Okay, so one of the reasons I pretty much stopped using the David Mosher head form is because it forces you to put the ears too far forward. And I use my head forms now almost exclusively, and the ears are in the right place. But I had to modify the head form to make that work.
Where do you recommend buying styrofoam heads? Any good sources?
Amazon is not bad, or if you are going to order hundreds, Alibaba is good, but then you have to figure out which seller you're going to use, and often it is, there's a freight situation. But if you're going to go through a couple hundred styrofoam heads, then that's the way to go. Otherwise, Amazon. If you're paying $5 a head or under, you're doing all right.
THX1101. Hi, Wolfie. Glad to see you are doing well in these trying times.
I am. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you and your family are fine.
How do you think these trying times will affect haunts in October?
You know what? That situation is developing and changing every day. Yeah, the world right now is pretty divided on. Okay, the United States is very divided on what's happening and how and what we should do about it. And I think haunted houses will open, and I think haunted houses will actually do well. Simply because we've been cooped up for so long, I think people are still going to be afraid when July 4th comes around. So Halloween is going to be the biggest official holiday after we get our heads out of the sand. It's going to be too close to July 4th for people to say, oh yeah, let's go gather in massive crowds. I just don't think it's going to happen July 4th. And some places may still be under shelter in place at that time. It all depends on how hard you're hit. I don't see New York getting out of this soon. I don't know how Chicago is doing. I don't know how Portland is doing. But I think New York is going to stay. City is going to stay there a while. There would be an advantage, I think, this year for haunted attractions that are out in the country over the ones that are in a city. Because people in the city might feel safer going out into the country. I think you'll see more timed ticketing happen, where people will buy online and then have a time to go, as opposed to go there and wait in line.
Camera down a little bit. Can't see what you're doing.
I'm just trimming a mask. I always feel weird when I do this because the camera's pointed at my crotch. So, I never know exactly.
That's not what I want to see. They want to
Exactly.
see.
Here you go.
Okay, stop.
Sorry.
Will that blood mix work on props, not clothing, but things like fake weapons?
Sure, absolutely. Most of the time, I'm happy to say if it works for Ed Edmonds, it works for me.
Ezekiel says, I think haunted houses will do well, but they won't open in every state.
Yeah, there's going to be some areas that are just harder hit. And I don't know if it's even state by state. I think it's county by county. It's area to area. And Alexa, when is flu season?
Here's something I found on reference.com. Blue crab season in Maryland begins April 1st and continues through December 15th.
Now I know when blue crab season is.
Oh, blue crabs.
Alexa, when is flu season in the United States?
Here's something I found on reference.com. The exact timing and length of the flu season varies from year to year, but generally runs from October to May, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
So it runs from October to May, flu season. And that is when this could kick up, or second round or whatever. But October would be really early. So maybe you'll see restrictions lessen for quite a while and then come back. But hopefully it'll come back right after haunt season. We'll see. You know what? It's all evolving. And we are going to learn and listen and wait and watch and make the best possible informed decisions that we can. Because we want customers the whole time. And they have to stay on to do that.
My 9-year-old son has started to watch the Joy Channel. Can you say hi to Liam for me?
Hello, Liam. Liam, are you going to start making things? It's very important. Making things is awesome, in my opinion.
What are you working on?
I'm working on a mask called the Carnivore, which I only sculpted a few weeks ago here. And he is, it's kind of a fun scarecrow type mask.
What head form do you use, plastic or foam?
Plaster, actually. I use a plaster head form, and I make this head form for all of my Monster Camp students. So when they leave, they have my head form that I use, and I will. I don't really have one to show you. That's awesome.
He is very creative. Liam is very creative.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that. This one I painted pink the other day when I was cleaning my airbrush. So it's pinker than it normally is, but it looks like this. See how it goes all the way down to the floor, and your ear is in the right place, so you're able to get the ears on when you're sculpting. Okay. He looks drugged. And back to my belly.
With making a custom head form, how much smaller should it be than my actual head for latex or silicone? 10 to 15%? I want a nice snug fit so I can emote through it.
Okay, so latex shrinks, all right? Latex is going to shrink 10, even up to 15%. So if you're doing a latex mask, just use your regular head form, put about a ½ inch of clay over it, and then your sculpture, and then that should be fine. It should shrink down and fit very well. But if you're talking about silicone, you want to do what's called a reduced core. So you're going to want the head form to be about 10% smaller than your actual head. And you do that by sanding down. Most people leave the face alone and then sand down the head to get it smaller because they don't want to lose the details in the face. Anything else, wife?
I need to have someone do a life cast of me. Wish I had more people with the same interests and things that live near me. It's hard.
Have you tried? I mean, have you reached out for folks in your area? Now, obviously, right now the world is very weird, but I've had a lot of success. I'll just hop on Latex Mask Central or whatever, and I'll say, is there anybody near Birmingham, Alabama, who can help with a head cast? And normally they want one too, most of the time. So you'll have 2 or 3 people get together and do 2 or 3 head casts in a day, and it's a good time. You make a new contact and you get what you need out of it.
Glad to see you were able to finish your chores and go live, says Connie.
I was. I did all of the mowing today.
It's good to see you today, Connie. Ezekiel says he would love to get his own melon cast for a head form.
He's going to use a melon?
I'll wait till you take that off.
I can hear you now.
Says he would like to get his own melon cast for him. Hello, Spastic Pug. That's yours. Question, what latex brand do you use?
I don't usually use a brand per se. I normally get my latex now from Biddy Mold Supply. I used to get it from Chemionics in Ohio, but I've also gotten it and been very happy with it from Streamline Studios. I've gotten it from Fright Props. I've gotten it from Black Lagoon Supply Company. There's a lot of places to get latex. Okay, we're going to base this guy out. I want to base him out in black. I did not do that last time on the carnivore, and that's one of the changes that I want to make.
Spastic Pug says, awesome, whereas Alan would say, hooray.
Hooray!
You gave me advice a couple of weeks ago about the symmetry in my first masks. Thank you very much. Which of your videos has the best example of making a half mask? I just started sculpting one.
Oh, I would have to look, but I actually have a whole latex mask making playlist on YouTube, and you could tap into that playlist, I think, and it'll certainly have what you need on it. Getting my air set up.
So much for the romance. Thanks for pulling it.
Sorry, love. Now you can get to work. You're not carried up by a cat. He was holding you back.
That would have really been.
Yeah, he wouldn't have liked this either.
Yeah, he wouldn't have gone for that. Approximately how many masks do you get from 5 gallons of latex?
About 30.
No Monster Latex, it works well for making the masks, but the dry brush is no good.
Who said that?
Psycho Axe.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't get latex from monster makers. Ohio is very far from me, so that's a lot of shipping. So, sounds like this is not even turned on. There we go. Now, cooking with gas. Something more juice.
He says it clumps bad.
What's that?
It clumps bad.
Yeah, you were mentioning that, and I don't understand that one.
How do you make your headboard?
Well, I have a silicone mold that every time I need one, I just make one out of plaster in that mold.
Horror Beauty says that this is an ongoing complaint with monster makers. Latex clumps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use their latex. I've heard bad stuff about engineer guys' latex. I've heard bad things sometimes about monster makers.
Is that a Harbor Freight spray gun that's often on sale for $10?
Well, this is actually normally on sale for $14.99. Well, I think full price is $14.99, and it's wonderful. I love them.
Engineer guys' latex is great. Comparable to Fright Props.
Okay, cool, good to know. Because I'm on a lot of forums for mask making, sometimes I hear a lot about bubbles and stuff in it, but if it's worked for you, that's awesome. That's what matters. Let some pressure build up in the good old air compressor.
Rob O'Brien said, already a thumbs down. Oh, never mind. Somebody, thumbs down is gone. Thumbs down is here. Thumbs down is gone. Okay. What are you making tonight?
I am blooding a shark. I am making a carnivore mask. We're working on that. I am probably going to work on my bear sculpture a little bit. I'm batting cleanup. I'm doing a lot of little things in here that I have to do.
Hooray. 85 people are watching.
We may make some sock masks out of Gravedigger masks. And probably today, I might pull the Gravedigger into here, the mold, and go ahead and make a buck for it. Because I've poured it up in such a way where I can make a buck, and that means I can make more molds off of that mask.
Are haunted corn mazes a big thing in Texas?
Laci. No, not in Texas. In Texas, the highest our corn gets is 3 feet tall.
It's not that. It's a little taller than that. It's not. It's
3.2 feet tall.
It's not
My
that
mistake.
short.
I've upset the native Texan about the size of her corn. It's too hot here for corn. Corn does not flourish. So we don't have good corn. So a corn maze would be like, yep, that's the exit. You would just see it. So the answer is no.
Psycho Axeman would like said no Wolfman on Saturday.
There might be Wolfman stuff. We'll see what happens.
He's asking about his mask.
Oh. Yeah.
I got a full grouch today, and was a nice surprise. Thanks so much. I love it. Yay! Glad you got it.
Yeah, the werewolf is coming. That is happening. What I have to do a lot of the time is there's just too much going on in the shop, and I have to finish all these little projects to get that next wave of projects in.
Lot says, hey, you got your lawn mowed. Chores are done in life. Got a lot done today.
When they showed up to pick up a Gravedigger costume, and when they did, I was mowing the lawn.
And that was day 2 of mowing the lawn.
Yeah, day 2, mowing the lawn.
Takes about 2 days.
Okay. Yep, that's black now.
I typically use Monster Maker's latex. I've been kind of scared to try other brands in case I don't end up liking them. I like to have a brand that's closer to where I live to save on shipping.
What area are you in? What area of the country?
How do you go about molding a full head mask?
Very carefully. I actually, if you go back, when I'm working on the cornivore is a full head mask, and I molded it live. So you've got, you know, lots of info there, but you make a clay wall down the center, pretty much, center of the head. I mold the back of the head first because it has less detail, and I'm not worried about fighting gravity. And then lay it on the back of that mold, and then I mold the front of the face. So, yeah. There's your goal, man.
Hello, Paul Rhodes. Paul says the shark looks amazing.
Thank you. Ooh, look at that. I missed the inside of that ear. How terrible.
What PSI are you spraying?
Probably 90 because of who I am as a person. I just, 90. That's what it comes out of the thing at. I don't have a regulator on that sprayer at all. I'm just touching out the spots that I missed with a brush. No reason why the big sprayer and the brush can't be friends and help each other out. Okay.
Be nice to get a brand latex. I have waited nearly 5 months for our supplier to get some in. That's Ezekiel. Nightmare Fuel. I live in North Carolina.
Hey, Ezekiel, what I used to have luck doing is find balloon factories. Find a balloon factory and try and buy a 5-gallon bucket from them. They probably have balloon factories in Australia. That's my guess. Shark blood is dry. Let's do it again.
How's the weather in Texas?
Wonderful. It was an absolutely beautiful day today. Ridiculously good the weather was.
Round 2. Cobwebs is watching. Hello, Scott Creighton. Yes, I do work at dark hour. I'm kind of like a junk drawer. I do a lot of things that I just do a lot of things.
You do a lot of things.
I wear many hats, but yes, I work there and I act there as well. Paul Road says it's just starting the 90s here in Central California.
The 90s. When I was in, every time I've been in California, it's been like a beautiful 80-degree day, like every day I was there.
We are in Southern California a week ago.
We are approaching maximum polar bear. All right, round 2 of blood. There will be 3 rounds of blood.
Roku, I just sent you the Instagram for Stiltney Studios. Please follow so we can rate. Jake Ryan, when painting a urethane Skint Prop. How would you alter your regular paint mix?
I would not use that for urethanes. I actually paint with a different material. This is what I use. Snake skin from Douglas and Sturgis. This is a 1-part urethane that you can tint with quality acrylic paints. Quality acrylic paints will tint this, and then you can spray it on or whatever you want to do with it. Snake skin, note how it's spelled, S-K-Y-N, all one word, from Douglas and Sturgis.
Is that mariachi final countdown? Well, we are in Texas. There's a lot of mariachi. Wow, missed the crap out of you guys. Any place I can... Hey, listen.
You guys can see the look I'm getting.
Are you done?
Carry on, my dear wife.
Any place I can go admire your work? Well, probably not right now with COVID, but after all of this, what thing?
Website, but what you mean, I think it sounds like in person, because you can certainly surf the web on COVID during COVID times. But a lot of what I make is at Dark Hour Haunted House. I always display at Trans World Halloween show, normally in St. Louis, and then I also always display at Midwest Haunters Convention, which is in Chicago, and that one is probably happening in July. I'm always at those 2 shows.
Hey, Mr. Jimmy, I don't know which video you saw. It's quite possible it was me. So.
What's the question?
He said, were you the witch gypsy talking in the beginning of our video?
Yes.
Was it me?
The way you walk was thorny, through no fault of your own. Even the man who's pure at heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfsbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. Remember that shark spine I made? Garbage, because it's going on a plaque.
Okay. Mr. Jimmy, I haven't seen it, but there's a chance.
Yes, that's you. That's my wife.
Nice shirt, says Psycho X.
Why, thank you. Monster Day, Greeley, Colorado. I hope it's happening this year. If it does, I'll be there.
Have you sculpted the skull mask you said you would one day yet? Hey, Brent. Sculpt a skull mask.
I have several skull masks that I have sculpted. Which one are you referring to?
Big dog, I'm not going to hit him, but...
Because the camera's on me. As soon as I go out of frame, it's over. It's over.
Hello, Dead End Yard Haunt.
It's a dead-end yard haunt.
Thank you, Mr. Jimmy. I get to do a lot of fun stuff there.
She's awesome. Okay. I have to realize the difference between when I'm cleaning and when I'm moving things around. Sometimes I'm just moving things around.
Thank you for your order, Rob O'Brien.
What did Rob order?
T-shirt and DVD.
Cool.
Thank you. We'll get those out to you this week. Oh, thank you, Psycho Axeman.
For what?
How do you grow a cool beard?
How do you grow a cool beard? Well,
Wow.
see, I have the ability to grow a beard from my eyes down. Like even like these little areas here, I shave them in to be empty. Well, they're kind of filled in now, but I shave them to be empty. Ooh, I got latex in my beard. No one told me. That's terrible. Look, big hunk of latex in my beard from when I was pouring earlier. That's gonna smart. Let's go take care of that. Liam, I'm about to pull latex out of my beard. I'm gonna try my hardest to not use foul language.
Wow, Alan, you look thinner every time I visit.
I'm trying.
I was watching an old video.
Hold on. Hand lotion. pretty much gets it right out with lanolin. Yes, watching an old video.
I was watching an old video. You said you never had done one yet, so I was just wondering if you had a skull mask.
Oh, well, I've done several since then. I don't know how old that video was, because I bet I've made 10 skull masks.
Spastic Pug says, I love
Who
the
knows?
Gravedigger's profile.
This one?
His workbench looks like mine. How do you make a big monster hand for your costume?
How to make a big monster what?
Hand.
Oh, I would sculpt a big monster hand and mold it. The same way you'd make a mask, just sculpt it and mold it. That's the easy way to do it. Now you get the lotion out of your beard. Well, your beard smells nice. So there's that. Okay. Let's go back to shark is drying. I gotta clean off some space here. It's almost empty, so I'm gonna go ahead and refill that while I have the thought to do it.
Have you ever made videos about realistic silicone monster hands?
No, I haven't. There's so much silicone stuff out there right now. Maybe not on the info end, but definitely on the sale end.
Do you wait for the clay wall to dry when molding? When you are done with the back of the mold, do you take the wall off?
As soon as the back of the mold is done, it is your new wall. You take off the mold. Take off the wall.
Question.
Yes.
Say you're pouring a full mask and you are short on latex to get a full 2-hour soak. Can you add something suspended in the cast to displace the latex without issue?
You could, but just slush it. Just pour in enough and then roll your mold around to get a coating and let that pour out. And then let that dry and do it like 3 times. You'll have a plenty thick mask. You don't have to mess with putting something in the middle of it that the latex won't stick to, because you'll actually waste more latex that way. It's going to stick to the mold and whatever that is probably. So just slush cast it. You don't need to fill it all the way up. I normally do. You get a more even mask that way, but you don't have to. Many people don't want to spring for a 5-gallon bucket, so they slush cast all the time.
Do you use any beard products? If not, I can send you some links and discount codes if you want. I'm sure the wife would appreciate it.
You just saw me put lotion in my beard. What are they trying to say here? I do use a beard wax every now and then. It's not an everyday thing. And my beard is a little bit out of hand right now with the quarantine. My plan is to take a day and just clean that up. Psycho Axeman, you are incredibly too kind.
Oh my goodness.
Cobwebs and candlesticks, you're too kind.
Oh my God.
I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Wife looked away for a second. Can't do it, wife. No more kid videos.
This psycho says no Axeman, no Wolfman.
Wolfman's happening.
Oh my goodness. Lost my spot. Do you share the Gravedigger story? So you shared the Gravedigger story yesterday. Did you get to make the icon for your client that Chad drew?
Oh, absolutely I did. Yes. And I had to, it was, at that point, it was in such a time, I had to turn that mask around in 1 week. Sculpt it, mold it, finish it, hair it, send it out. So, yes, I got to do it, but it was speedy. And it looks a little Scooby-Doo-ish because, you know, it's after an illustration. So, yeah. But anyway, yes, I did it.
Have you found any critters in your molds when you bring them in to pour?
Here so far, no. But there was a haunted house that I was working at, and I pulled a mold off of the shelf, and curled up in it was a snake. Curled up inside the mold. So yeah, you have to be careful. And at Adamsville, tarantulas would move into the molds. They would, where the molds would go together in between the two molds, they would go and make a home. So you'd pick up a mold and like 2 tarantulas would haul up. Good times. Luckily, I'm not afraid of snakes or spiders. This distilled water, there's still some left. I'll keep it.
Just started watching this channel and was wondering if the Grouch was going to get some work done.
Yes, I actually have 2 grouches to make, but I already have 2 that are already based out. So odds are really good tonight. Maybe not tonight, looking at time, but at some point, yes, I'm going to get a grouch done. They're based and they're dried, so I could paint those now. I have 2 grouches to make. There's always stuff to make. And then there's things that I want to make, and there's things that I have to make. And I enjoy both of them. If I enjoyed cleaning my table off more, that'd be better. Alexa, add distilled water to my shopping list.
I put distilled water on your shopping list.
I found spiders in my molds multiple times.
Spiders, yeah. There's one time where I molded on the back porch, and it was a couple days before I got to crack it open, and fire ants had moved in, and they had eaten the clay and made tunnels in the clay, so they were in between the sculpt and stuff.
Locke says, thanks for the skeletons. Glad we waited till the grandkids left. Locke, if I'd known, I'd thrown some in there for the grandkids. Had a few spiders and stuff here in Australia. Done a few kung fu dances, I'll be honest. I'll bet you did there.
Everything in Australia wants to kill you, except for Ezekiel and the Swedish princess.
Locke says, our granddaughter took a 3-foot skeleton home. That's a good kid, Locke. Psycho says, no more Wolfman. I think he wants his...
No more Wolfman.
His Wolfman. She got a werewolf.
Is that
Psycho.
what he means?
I think so.
I think. What do you mean when you say no more Wolfman?
Werewolf is what you're getting, Psycho. Unless you change your mind. My father wanted to start a kid-friendly haunted house with Muppet-styled monsters and cheesy themes. I have no idea if it's a good or bad idea.
I think it's a bad idea, but I'm a real pro monster guy. So that means, would it be well attended? Maybe. I don't know. The kids monster things, to me, don't seem to do as well.
Spastic Hug. We do a kid-friendly haunt. Have kids as young as 3 or 4. Keep the scares without the blood and guts, and the kids love it.
Who was that?
That was Sean Raven.
Cool.
Other than humans and snakes, have you life casted anything else? Me.
You're a human.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, we did an alligator. We did We did a dead frog. Oh, we did a rat. If you do a rat, it's very important that you really grease up the rat well, or else the silicone mold takes all of his hair off, which is utterly disgusting.
You did the snake for Britney Spears.
Yeah. Yeah, he said other than a human and a snake.
Oh, did you?
You read it, yeah.
You did. There you go again with ALEXA. I've got to remember to shut her off when I'm watching you.
Sorry.
Ordered a quarter bore blank. Can't wait to get it.
I think I poured it up today.
Yeah, today was a good day for things. To take care of and stuff
Okay. Psycho Axeman. When you say no more Wolfman, what did you mean? What do you mean by that?
Recently in the news, a lady had to take down Halloween decorations because they were too gruesome and close to a school. What is your opinion on it?
I don't. My Halloween decorations aren't gruesome. My Halloween decorations are, well, you know, pumpkins and scarecrows, and if you want to build torture stuff outside of your home, I don't know. I'm just not as into that. But so I guess I'm okay with them saying, hey, that's wrong. If it were, a bunch of naked people, I would probably also say, hey, it's next to school, it's kind of creepy. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm okay with that. Censorship in some cases is fine. I have to kind of have that stance. I'm a moderator in a lot of Facebook groups, and just some things aren't appropriate for that time or that space. And if you can satisfy all your customers and get your vision across within the confines that you're given, sometimes you're forced to be more creative, and it turns out better.
Psycho Axeman says, I want it. I'm tired of looking at the shark.
You're tired of looking. The shark's over here. Ha, ha, ha.
Ah, you funny.
So you should say more Wolfman. Yes. All right. Let's do something fun.
Psycho, the sharks are almost done. Be heading out soon. 100 people watching.
100 people.
Happy Saturday night.
Happy Saturday night, everybody.
Happy Saturday. Still Beast rocks. Awesome job on the shark. Thanks for the tip on foam filling the large horns. I used our technique rolled around the perimeter, allow to slightly harden, and then fill the center of the horns.
Cool. Awesome. Very good.
Says it turned out great.
So someone has a screen name Last Action Hero.
Joe
I actually
Jackson-
love that movie.
Joe Jackson, Last Action.
I love Last Action Hero. That's a good movie.
See, all wanted to see the Wolfman creature from Alan's Psycho X-Men. Body geeks. So I don't see anyone using plain plaster of Paris like you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's for mask molds. Why is that?
Because it's garbage. It's not strong enough. It has almost no strength to it. So it's a very brittle mold, and it's not nice to work with. It's inconsistent. It's problematic.
Explain what you're doing.
I am covering this head form in foil so that I can, then I will cover it in tape. Then I will cut off the tape and foil, and I'm actually going to foam fill that to make a bust. And that is what I'm going to build Psycho Axeman Werewolf
When will this live feed end? I love it. I'd love it if it never ended.
on. Oh, I like to sleep. I'm a fan of sleeping.
You are fine.
Maybe I'm not a fan of it, but I do it every now and then.
Happy Saturday night indeed. My ALEXA keeps doing whatever you tell it to.
Hooray, I think it's working properly.
Generation X has joined us.
Hooray! For the record, every time you say Generation X or whatever, I'm like, all of them? But you mean that one in particular.
Just our generation X. What are you working on tonight?
Lots of things. I'm batting some cleanup tonight. I have a lot of little things in the shop that have to happen, so I'm making them happen.
Psycho Axeman says, sorry for rushing.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Happening Mojo. I'm sketching out an inflatable head form made from air ride rubber. The face from some rigid plastic. I have to figure out the variables, solvents and such. Can you think of any drawbacks?
All right. So every new mask maker tends to invent a head form of some kind that will collapse or whatever in order to make two-piece molds into a one-piece mold. Many people do that. Let me go back and read. Can I think of drawbacks? No, not necessarily. On several occasions, I have actually put air jacks in my mold so that I was able to hook an air compressor up to it and shoot air into it to get it to come apart. Lots of people work on the puzzle head for a sculpting bust, or they try to do one that is inflatable, like you're mentioning. It's actually common for people to kind of invent those. I haven't seen them done well yet. Often they don't come to fruition because they just kind of get used to doing two-piece molds. Drawbacks, I can't really see any drawbacks. But what are the advantages? Well, what is the advantage of it over a two-piece mold?
Says, I'm thinking of Tuesday or Wednesday if that works for you all.
Who, what?
Body Geeks coming to pick up his order.
Okay. We could probably do, Wednesday is probably a little better.
Still have to pour up do the head butt after.
That's no problem.
Reminds me of packing tape forms. Such a great idea. So many uses.
So that's actually what I'm doing. I'm making a packing tape form of this.
Silver Surfer mask looks awesome.
Yeah. Been working on this guy all day.
Hey Alan, where did you order your Oops All Felt Dremel kit?
Amazon. Just say felt head, Dremel, and you'll get it.
Can you make a plaster head form the same way?
You could, but it's a lot of work. Because the shell to support the weight of plaster would have to be pretty significant. And the shell to support the weight of foam doesn't really have to be that much.
Make people take down their Halloween decorations. I used to keep a large Frankenstein's monster outside and we dress him up for different holidays?
There are some decorations I think should not be outside. Frankenstein, he's probably pretty cool. I think he's fine. But you might want to decorate your yard with Nazi soldiers for Halloween. I don't think that's cool. So, I mean, there's definitely a line somewhere where they should be taken down. You might want to hang black people from the trees in your yard for Halloween. I don't think that's cool. So it's cool that that gets taken down. There's a line somewhere, I don't know where it is. I think it has to be kind of case by case. And sometimes they're going to make calls that stink. Like in the case of Frankenstein.
Do they make food-grade silicone to make molds with?
Absolutely. All platinum-grade silicone is food grade.
Your shark mask looks awesome, Alan.
Shark?
Mask? Shark mask.
Oh, thank you.
What head form do you have out right there, the black one? Thank you. Was it that?
This one?
I think that must have been that.
This is from, I think this is one of the new Ed heads from Monster Makers. I got mine from Baby Mold Supply though, because they're close. Before I had a head form from Asylum Props. I had that out earlier.
Thomas Sars, thank you for your order. Ordered this. I just ordered a shirt so I can watch in uniform.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Alan, what are you making there?
I'm prepping. I'm actually making a mold. I'm going to use this tape dummy that I'm making in order to make a foam bust. Because I can do this a couple ways. The werewolf mask that I'm making, it doesn't have shoulders and stuff, and this will just make a nicer bust. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I'll cover all of this in fur, and this will all be incorporated into the werewolf piece that I'm making for Psycho Axeman, who's watching.
How are the mass-produced Alan Hops head forms coming along?
They're in my massive spare time. What has happened, okay, is at Trans World, I would have gone to Trans World and hopefully have gotten lots of big orders, meaning full silk costumes, 8 packs of Apocalypse masks, full Krampus costumes, big orders. Instead, no Trans World, the bounty of beautiful live videos, that leads to a lot of small orders. And that's perfectly fine. This isn't a complaint at all. It's a different way of doing business. With big orders, I might work on that silk costume for 3 days, and I might profit $1,000. You guys see the rate at which I work. I'm doing something every night. I'm working every day. I do stuff during the day too, obviously. It's more little pieces. So some of the new stuff, and that's why I've been pretty adamant that I want to do stuff for me on Wednesdays. That's my new stuff. So I might be able to slide in making some of those molds for things like those head forms on a Wednesday. Now I'm adding clear tape to this, and I absolutely cannot see where that tape has already been put. So I'm having to be very systematic in what I'm doing to make sure I get everything covered as much as I want it to be covered.
Back on the Halloween decorations that are being removed. I meant to make people take them down after the holidays. This is why I dress my Frankenstein monster as Santa or the Easter Bunny so he can stay up year round. Maybe
Cool.
that's like HOA rules.
Yeah, I mean, some people obviously keep things outside their house the whole time, so I think it depends on where you're at. Some places do that. I was very adamant when we were searching for a house. I did not want an HOA. And where we live now, right here, they have a voluntary HOA, which you could be in the HOA if you want to, and if you don't, you're a jerk. So we're kind of in the HOA, but they don't tell you what to do, per se.
I kept his creepy Glenn Strange face no matter how he was dressed. Psycho Axeman says that he likes Ed's heads.
Yeah, they're good.
Human Brown. Have you ever made a swamp zombie, greenish tint with moss and vines?
Yes, I have. I think about 3 years ago we did. We did several swampy zombies for Dark Hour.
To prevent mold lot, I know keys and release agents are optimal, but I like making stuff for fun almost as much as mine. I was also thinking of a shim tool that expands like an exhaust jack.
Interesting.
How much would a hairy half chest with gloves be? How much would a half hairy chest with gloves be? Psycho Axeman. A half hairy chest. Talking not a full suit? Not a full suit, Psycho?
Why are you asking? Why are you asking? Are you putting a Wolfman together? Because the Wolfman I'm making for you now is a foam-filled bust. So it's no longer a mask when it's a foam-filled bust. I just want to be clear on that. And if I have to change plan, I'll change and we'll work it out. But probably.
Psycho says, yes, I am. He's
Okay.
putting a Wolfman suit.
So, chest, latex chest 150, that is strapped, and then the hairy gloves is 100, so that would be 250.
A styrene vacuum form would be a lot faster for quick molds.
Quick molds of what?
What will this foil and tape face be used for?
I'm actually going to use it to make a foam bust.
We could get fined in Australia if we leave decoration. They call it urban graffiti.
Wow, interesting.
What is your theme going to be this October for Dark Hour?
We are doing the witch that comes to power is the Sea Witch. So she is going to have some undead pirates, some sea creatures, and all kinds of things for her to take her crack at taking over the world. So kind of a nautical theme, nautical monsters theme.
What's that on the wall next to the grouch and above the Gravedigger blank? Gravedigger blank. gosh. Oh! Oh my goodness.
On the wall.
Next to the Gravedigger blank.
Gravedigger blank.
Blank.
That's a Gravedigger. That's an in-progress Gravedigger right there. And that's the Grouch blank. You know that.
Oh, is he talking about back here, baby?
No,
I don't.
he was over here.
Garage door? No, he said garage door wall.
Garage door wall over here.
I think he's looking at an inbred.
You're looking at the Hunchback.
Psycho X, man, you are amazing.
So, Psycho, do you want now chest, gloves, and mask? Or do you want your mask into a bust still? This is the Hunchback face. Set up to be a puppet.
Was that the one lock? Is that the one you were talking about? Pink latex on the plants.
The one that's...
Chest, gloves, mask.
Okay, good deal. All right, we'll do it, Psycho.
So we changed that?
We have changed it.
Okay, thank you.
He wants a werewolf set.
We're doing a costume now, not a...
We're doing a werewolf set.
Okay, hang on, Psycho. I've got to change you. This is not foam filled.
Yes.
Psycho, is it still gray?
Yes, he still wants grayish, I'm sure.
Blue jaw, werewolf, mask, chest, and gloves. Is that correct?
Yes.
Extra bloody still? And do you still want red LED lights?
All right, so let's just assume he wants all of that.
Just, well, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get this off of here, and I can split it down the sides, and then tape it back together. That's not a big deal to do, but I think I can also split it here and just get it straight up off of this. So let's try that first.
I spy with my little eyes something white. What you looking at, Generation X?
The bear sculpture's not done. That's under here.
Maybe so.
Psycho, I tell you that you always keep life interesting, sir. You do make life interesting.
Must have gotten his stimulus check today. No, that's just the way he is.
Face up. Try to straight up with this. So I split the face so it could go on over here. Looks like I gotta go a little more.
Psycho said, I'm always confused. Sorry, Alan.
It's all good, man. It's all good. But you gotta look at the shark a little bit more. It's time for blood round 3.
Woohoo!
We are final round of blood on the shark. It's the blood on the shark. It's the red on his gums. And put this back together. Now I was making this foam bust but see how now I have this head form? Isn't that fun? I'm face back together just like that, and I have a basic head shape from one of my head forms. I was going to foam fill this, but now I don't have to because I'm no longer making a bust. Luckily, that technique only takes 20 minutes.
Sergeant says, no sharks.
You got sharks, man. Here come the sharks, buddy.
Are you foam filling that bust tonight?
Well, no, because I don't have to. I was doing it for Psycho Axeman's werewolf. So that has changed, and that's okay. We go with the flow around here. We are approaching polar bear status, Wes. Polar bear status.
Good night, big dog.
Good night, big dog. Okay, we're good. What I like is this has just enough translucency in it for you to know that it's this.
What kind of hunchback is that? Hugo's misunderstood protagonist or a jerk like Lugosi's Igor?
More like Lugosi's Igor. He's not tortured in any way. He is happy to be hunchy.
Now Cobwebs needs an arm to go in the shark mouth.
He's living his best life.
Are you doing a guitar this year, Alan?
The festival that I do the guitars, who asked that?
Ezekiel?
The festivals that I do the guitar for, it canceled. So, no. I have a guitar, and I might do one. Who knows? Before they canceled, they gave me a guitar. That's kind of cool. I'm going to clean up that blood.
The shark looks like one toddler at the family reunion who hogs all the cherry pops. Shark looks great. Shark is so freaking awesome.
I am happy with how the shark turned out. All right. Next project.
Grouch painting next.
We can do that. Sure. Why not?
Here you go, Lisa. You are layering a lot of things tonight.
We are adding cleanup.
Is there a better way to thicken the blood initially, or is it better to layer it?
You could thicken it. You could just let your gloss stuff sit out a little bit without a lid on it, and that would make it thicker.
Do you play the guitar?
I do not play the guitar. I don't play any musical instruments. I play the harmonica, okay, but I'm not really good. I used to play some drums, but I'm not great. That just has not been where my pursuits took me. I was always hyper-focused on haunted house stuff. If I'm painting one grouch, I might as well paint two, but I gotta make two. Whew.
What is that?
This is isopropyl alcohol. I just want to clean them off to make sure the paint sticks really well. Because these guys were based out a while ago. And I want them to be cleaned. Because in the shop they get dust on them and such.
You play the mariachi horns with your mouth.
Yes, I do.
Psycho Axeman, but why would you create monsters for a job?
It's always what I wanted to do. And honestly, my focus when I was younger was being a full-time haunted house actor. The closest I could possibly be to being a monster for a living. was being a haunted house actor. So that's what I did. And I looked at the two of them. I looked at movies and I looked at haunted houses. And movies, I thought looked like a drag. It's simply because a lot of hurry up and wait, and how much time did they actually spend being a monster? Like, that was a big factor for me. And the answer was not a lot. So I would rather, be a haunted house guy. And now, 30 or so days out of the year, I'm suiting up and scaring folks. And I like that.
How much to upgrade to sock heads set up on the grouch and not straps?
Anytime you take a half mask into a full mask, it goes up a little. But who is?
This is Stanley, who has ordered a grouch mask.
Oh, Stanley, it's going to be a sock mask. It's going to be a sock mask. I'm painting them now, and then these get put on socks. Because the grouch mask is full head.
So he is getting a sock mask.
Yeah, you're getting a sock mask.
Yeah, one of these is yours, Stanley.
We're painting these first, and they'll go on socks.
He said, "Woo, thank you."
Yeah, they're full head. Because this is the same kind we do with the suits. My pricing structure is normally pretty simple. Where it gets weird is if something is huge, like the shark, it's just too big for me to price it like a regular half mask. It's got to be a little more. But half mask, $75. Make it into a full mask, another $25. So it's $100. The same is if I do a full head latex mask. That's $100, because that's just more work in physically moving the mold around. They're bigger molds. They take more latex to fill. You use more latex. And these guys, it's a smaller, lighter mold to mess with most of the time. But then you have to put it onto a sock, get the sock, a little bit of extra cost, not terrible. But I try to price it fair and pretty transparent. If you look at one of my things, you can look at it and say, okay, that's a full head mask, $100. It has horns, $125, and it has hair, $150. You can look at it, ding, 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 and just know what I'm going to charge. That's the hope.
Steve Haynes, alcohol shortage is the new trend. We talked about you the other night, Steve, and your teasing code.
Yeah, I was doing hair. I'm like, man, I wish Steve was here.
When will the little piggy be done? I really want to watch him get painted.
What day is it today?
Today is Saturday. There's the blank.
Probably Monday night, I would guess. I would guess Monday night I would be on War Figure.
Good night, Spastic Pug.
Tomorrow I take all of these Gravediggers that are not on head socks. They go on head socks. They get hair. Gravedigger is the big holdup right now, simply because he was very popular.
Is the shark finished?
Shark's done.
Shark is done.
Shark is done. As soon as that's dry, it's going to go on your table.
Great.
So you can ship it.
Shipping.
Ship it into shape. Ship forward. That's Devo with it. Nobody?
Right.
Okay.
When are we going to see Frankenstein masks on the site?
Isn't Frankenstein on the site? Under the mask section?
No, because we're going to put him in black and white frights.
You probably put the mask up.
We did that.
Soon. We just had a discussion. soon.
So glad you like the comb, and I've been practicing just so I don't forget how to do my job. Steve. Might be a while before I can try on the Gravedigger. My dogs went nuts for the top hat alone. Oh no, Lot. I hope they didn't hurt the hat.
No, scared him like that. It's an intimidating. It's an intimidating setup.
But it's gonna look awesome
The
on
hat
you.
really changes your height. I'm a big fan of how the Gravedigger turned out.
Yeah, if you guys are see Lockhart today drove up and took the first Gravedigger costume, the full set, and has promised us a picture of the Gravedigger on a Harley Davidson. Promised. Ship it good.
You must ship it.
Gotta watch Creep Show 2 with the daughter. Good night and peace to all. Quint is perfect, Alan. Thank you. Good night, Cobwebs.
Hey, thanks. Good movie. Creep Show 2. It's that first coat of green. So everything gets it, and it's the heaviest coat I put on. This paint is going on very well because we cleaned it.
Did you clean the mask?
Yeah. It was dusty. I mean, they get dusty in here.
Do you ever use music to inspire yourself?
Yes? Yes. 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 Inspire is a weird. I don't lack inspiration. I don't have monster block. I don't have creative block. I just do stuff. And if something gives me trouble, I don't register. I just go around it. And I do something else until I get back on course. So to inspire me, I might listen to something to drive a certain message home, music-wise. I might I use music to change my energy quite a bit, to pick myself up. If I have to work on pace, then I do definitely want to have some music going that is not even music that I particularly like, but just has a drive to it. Not uncommon for me to ask ALAXA to play, I'll say, play popular music from 2012. And that was a time when I listened to that because when I was directing at Screams, I had to listen and count our commercials on the radio. So I had it on that station. So it just reminds me of that time in that shop. And then making the Yeti suit with my buddy Dan Caro in like 96, 97. Every time I hear the song, I smell sex and candy, yeah. That song, that reminds me of making the Yeti because it came on a lot at that time. So I use music more in an energy fashion than in a motivational fashion or an inspirational fashion. And that might be exactly what you meant, and I misunderstood your original question.
Will it be Werewolf Sunday tomorrow around 2 California time?
Will what be wearable?
Psycho Axeman would like to know if tomorrow will be Werewolf Sunday tomorrow around 2 California time.
Brandon D, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Very kind. Very kind.
I've got the rest of them.
What was Psycho asking again?
Psycho said, will it be Werewolf Sunday tomorrow around 2 California time?
Yes, I heard you say, will it be wearable? I'm like, No way I can make it. I could get it finished by then. But yeah, I can work on it tomorrow. I can work on it tomorrow if you'd like. Are you saying you're free to tune in tomorrow, sir? Kitty, who's protesting.
How much does making a mask into a bust add?
Depending upon the size of the mask and what kind it is, if you order a half mask and you want a full bust, that's going to cost more than you just want me to foam fill a half mask. The shark is a half mask that I filled. Now it's a big half mask, but this is a half mask that we foam filled in order to mount on a wall.
Psycho says, I have that Grinch mask. So cool. You got the first.
That's right, you do. You got the very first one I did.
KVFX Special Effects Makeup says, go ahead.
Be right back. That shark is on your table.
Because he's ready to go.
Yep.
I messaged you about your setup for your paint area. I recall that you used egg cartons and some other useful tips on storing paints and bottles. I also sent a video of my setup.
Cool. Okay. I'll review that and I'll get back to you. Sometimes email does take a day or two. I get a lot of. Please don't make it sound like I'm complaining. I get a lot of email, and I try to answer them all back. It's difficult. I try to get on multiple questions first because I figure sometimes they're waiting on an answer or an opinion or whatever it is.
Good night, Thomas R. And hello, Art Lady Blunser.
Good night, Thomas.
What are your thoughts on noir costumes and prop wise?
And prop.
And prop wise.
They're cool. Okay. They're very neat. They're a little penisy for me. They do love the penis a little bit, and they express that in their costuming sometimes. They also love other body parts.
He's got this dead wasp. He's got a wasp on him, but he's dead.
Okay, let me handle my dog here for a moment.
Chicago? Good boy.
Weird. Okay.
Okay. Psycho says tomorrow is his day off.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow.
What?
Wife, give me a reminder, would you?
2 o'clock California time is what time here?
That's noon here. I plan on being in the shop anyway.
That's gonna get you going.
We have to go have lunch and come back early.
Let's see. Whatever happened to the shop tree frog?
We still get them in the rainy season. It still happens.
Yeah. And he brings friends.
Yeah, we might have one in there now. I'm not sure. We do have a tree frog that shows up fairly often.
Random question. Who are your favorite pro wrestlers? I'm betting Shannon loved Kerry Von Erich.
I don't think she knows who that is. I have never actually been a super follower of pro wrestling. When I tell you that I've been haunted house focused my whole life, what I mean is I've been haunted house focused my whole life. That's all I do, and that's what I consume. But Axe and Smash of Demolition, they were a tag team wrestling match in the 80s. Those were fun. You can't be a haunted house guy and not like The Undertaker. Also, a favorite of mine was Kamala, the Ugandan giant. Really liked him because he was just funny and tough and interesting. Yeah, he was different and exotic. I liked him. So, I guess I've answered your question. I couldn't name 5 wrestlers today. I think I could name John Cena. It's just not something I watch. But I can't name the 5 characters on Friends either, because I never watched it.
Psycho says gravy and biscuits are the best brunch.
I would agree with you. They are really good.
Have you done a Swamp Thing inspired mask?
No. I've done lots of swamp creatures, and I've done lots of tree men that were moss covered and stuff, but not a Swamp Thing inspired mask.
MMA plus monsters equals pro wrestlers. Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka, you did say it correctly.
Said it right.
I liked him because he wore leopard spotted. It was a Speedo. He wore a leopard spotted Speedo, but he looked like Tarzan. And as a kid, I loved Tarzan. Tarzan is how I learned how to swim. And the first year that I took, in the summers, I would be a lifeguard. And the first year that I took my swimming test, my Red Cross swimming test to become a lifeguard test, I passed, but just barely because I couldn't tread water because I learned how to swim from watching the old Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan movies, and they only showed him above the water, so I only used my arms. I only used my arms when I swam. My legs were just dead weight behind me. So I had to learn how to kick and in order to stay afloat. But I was the second fastest person on that the 25-yard swim we had to do. And when they found out I wasn't using my legs, they were like, well, that's pretty good. When we teach you how to swim, you'll be good at this. Oh, I know what I was coming here for. I misremembered.
Are you using Ed Edmonds' formula for these for base paint?
I am. I'm using it for base paint. I'll use it up until I start airbrushing.
Legion of Doom.
Yes, Axe and Smash. Wait, no, Legion of Doom. I don't know who they were.
Ivan Pusky was one of my mother's favorite wrestlers.
Oh, drink.
Thank you for this tiny, tiny ring of cup.
Yeah, Ivan was fun.
It's just enough to make me angry. I'm kidding.
Have to give my wife a drink of my beverage.
What are you drinking?
Coke Zero.
I love the Swamp Thing. That's old school.
It is. I had a hard time getting into the comics because they were very 70s, and I think you had to take psychedelic drugs to really appreciate them. But, yeah. Wait, I was thinking of Man-Thing. Swamp Thing, you don't need drugs for. I really liked the movie with Dick Rock. That was a good movie.
Dark and Drekken, Hugh and Misty say hi.
Hi!
Hi.
Haven't seen you guys in forever.
Let's see. I've babysitted Ric Flair's kids.
Okay. You did.
Kabuki was a unique wrestler back when the Von Erichs were good.
I don't know who that was.
Are there any animatronical features that you particularly enjoy crafting? Anything you'd like to make more of? I really enjoy tentacles and teeth.
Just masks. I mean, I like making masks, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I make whatever I gotta make. To me, these are tools to get a job done. So I enjoy making them.
Do you still do yoga?
What?
Do you still do yoga?
No. I've fallen off the yoga wagon. I wish I could get back on the yoga wagon, but I certainly am not on the 5 a.m. waking up wagon since the quarantine hit.
The town I grew up in claimed to fame as Susan Tex Green. Legion of Doom was Hawk and Animal.
Hawk and Animal. I have to look them up. It sounds familiar, but that was a long time ago.
My favorite were the Freebirds.
I don't know who the Freebirds are.
Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run was awesome, and Jim Wynorski's Swamp Thing Returns is a great film. The Wes Craven film costumes were not film ready.
Interesting. You know much more about Swamp Thing than I do.
Alan Skint Prop guy.
I don't know about that. It's a little weird to me to be called that kind of nice stuff.
Jimmy Snuka actually murdered his girlfriend at the time he wasn't charged until right before he died, so never paid for it. Wow.
Well, that sucks. Turns out he was a jerk.
Psycho Axman says the yoga is relaxing, just 20 minutes a day, that's all.
It was. I actually enjoyed it, but there wasn't no 20 minutes a day. It was like an hour a day.
One of those Swamp Thing costumes did seem to be a green latex bodysuit.
It was foam latex, and I know that. I mean, people talk about that in special effects circles quite a bit, and I have had the distinction of being in a full foam latex suit while submerged underwater. And the problem is, you're underwater, and the whole shot is them shooting the water. So you have to be underwater long enough for it to go still, and then they shoot the water, and then you rise up out of the water. That's a monster coming out of the water shot. The problem is the foam holds water. So I can see me leave the water, but my face is still underwater. And then there's this second level of water that's draining out of the suit, much slower than I would like to breathe. And the same thing happened when the suit got wet on Swamp Thing, but it got so heavy, he had a hard time moving. It absorbed so much water. Water's heavy. But anyway, now we're talking about swamp suits.
Where are your glasses? You didn't lose them already, did you?
No, they're right where they're supposed to be. And I don't need them unless I'm like reading or something, or detail. Fine detail, I definitely need glasses. We're getting this good base green on. It's greening up nicely. Then we'll go to a light green.
The informative value of your video is beyond compare.
Thank you. I'm glad for that. That is part of what we're doing here. The other part that the live videos I have realized, it's just community. You know, we don't have social interaction right now on the scale that we are accustomed. And this is a nice way for my wife and I to inject a little bit of social interaction into our day. Maybe I can't hear you guys talking, but in my head I've made up voices for each one of you. So when Shannon reads a comment, I hear it in the voice that I have made up for you. And some people I see on their YouTube videos, and I'm able to then modify that voice to what they actually sound like.
Can you do the 1/3 paint scenario with fluorescent paint?
Absolutely. The type of acrylic does not matter. The type of paint that you mix in, as long as it's water-based, doesn't really matter that much.
I only wear my glasses for detail, like driving, reading, and walking.
Those kind of details.
Oh my God, we need to hear the voices you made up. I want to hear you do my accent, says Ezekiel. Like you don't do enough voices. I can only imagine what I sound like in your head, says a lot.
Well, see, I've heard you, so I know what your voice sounds like.
KBFX Special Effects Makeup. One of the things I had trouble with was color. Both mixing in order to get the right shade I want and a color scheme that fits the character that fits the character. What would you recommend to improve on this? Can we read it again?
No. There are tri-color sets. And what you want to do is look up a tri-color set. And then it's colors that are already paired together. It's 3 colors. and you can use those 3 colors on whatever it is you're making, and they're going to have a cohesive color scheme. I pick my colors kind of for the year, and I try to pick ones that will go together fairly well.
This is like a $300 class at Stan Winston, says Psycho. That's a compliment.
Yes, it is.
I want to know what my voice sounds like in your head, says Horror Beauty.
Well, you know what? It's not even like, it's not a voice I can do, per se. It's the voice that I hear you talking in. I think I only found out what you look like a couple weeks ago, because you sent me a friend request, and I found out. I'm like, oh, that's that, because you.
Different names.
Yeah. YouTube names are not Facebook names and all that. I'm like, hey, I know her.
Yellow Bust makes me think of Crash Test Dummies.
Okay. I can see it. Doesn't even make me mad. All right, so this guy's dark green is dry. I'm going to move on to some light green. I think I'm going to mix some dark green and light green
Stacy Hawkins, hello.
for a middle ground.
Stacy had cocktail hour with the farmers.
That is important.
Everybody wants to know what their voices sound like to you. Would
Well,
you consider, go ahead.
It's not even, like, I don't even know I could get them out of my head is the thing. It happens in my head, so. It's like asking me to do work and then do math and show your work.
Stacy says mini margaritas. Would you consider adding realistic eyes to your busts so they look out at you while you are working on them?
No, that'd be weird. That'd be creepy.
There's cute critters tonight.
These ain't got no rights. You wet, you dry.
Psycho Axeman has a question.
Shoot.
You're ready. Ezekiel says, hey Stacy, was Jake running around his flamethrower half nude? Terrible.
Because Texas.
Because Jake,
Yeah.
flamethrower. 1980 MKE. What does a shrimp troll sound like asking for a friend? Not half nude, but yes, with the flamethrower. Ezekiel wants a flamethrower.
See, now you can see that they're starting to pop. Listen, the way Australia has been last year and this year, you're lucky you get a lighter. Australia was on fire.
Flamethrowers below. What laundry detergent is best for using with black lights and can be sprayed on with an airbrush? What laundry detergent is best?
I think it was Tide. No, Woolite. Woolite is the answer. Woolite for 600, Alex. The answer is Woolite.
Quick tip.
That is the best.
If you want to see color theory and how color works together, you can check out Vallejo, Reaper, and GW paint sets that are made for different factions. They show interplay well.
Yeah, basically what they do is they collect a lot of those tricolor set deals. And it's just 3 colors that go well together.
He is looking good. Around how long?
The light green makes it pop.
Around how long can well cared for foam latex last?
Well cared for. All right, last as in on display. This is a prop from a movie. or last as in I'm buying a foam latex prosthetic and I want it to last all through haunt season?
You remember the old sparking flint toys from the 70s and 80s?
I do. I do remember them.
So it's more like a prop. How long does it last? Foam latex.
Foam latex it doesn't actually last that long. It actually kind of breaks down fairly quick. If you got 3 years out of it as a haunt prop, I would say you're doing pretty good. The ones on display from movies often really start to break down at about 20 years, and they're like held together well for display.
So dark shadows are up and bright colors are down.
I like bright colors. Yes, yes. The further back on the mask, the darker it's going to be. I'm leaving the black in those crevices, and then I'm putting this color on, this bright green on, lighter than I put on the dark green. You are correct. We are doing a classic dry brush on this right now. We're going to blend this all together with the airbrush and make it appear a little smoother. But yes. Yeah, both of these guys will turn into sock masks tomorrow. Wife, you should probably do some packaging tomorrow night. I'll try and get a slew of orders ready for you.
Yeah. Why is it called dry brushing?
Because I'm not using the paint, I'm not using the brush so full of paint that it's wet. Actually, when I hit my brush, very little comes out on my hand. I kind of have to really scrape it to get anything onto my hand because there's very little paint on the brush. So I have a pile of paint down here, and I dip it in, and you might see me get paint off of the brush, and I'm looking at what it's doing to this surface to tell me what it's going to do to the mask. And I can bring up the value very slowly that way instead of just sloshing paint everywhere. The dry bristles will go from the top of this ridge to the top of this ridge to the top of that ridge without going down in that valley. So I'm going this way. If I went with the line, I might get paint down in there, but I'm using a dry brush so the paint will not flow down in there.
Ezekiel, how's the kitten? I need an update, please. I love your work.
Well, thank you.
Have you
Okay.
ever used a lazy Susan when working on a full mask for easy rotation?
Absolutely, all the time. I just don't have one out here right now. Yeah, I have two sitting in that drawer right there. I use them a lot.
Psycho says, see, all we have to do is ask questions.
Yeah, and it happens. All right, so this guy needs to dry. This guy kind of has to dry a little bit too. And dry brushing also, the drier your brush is, the faster it's going to dry, so you can kind of keep working longer. If I wet painted this whole thing green, I'd have to wait for that to dry. It's going to take twice as long as just a dry brush to dry. So there's just more paint on it.
Questions keep Alan young and handsome.
Hooray! Somebody better ask more questions. Have a war piggin that's going to go out.
Thank you, Rodney Pope. Ezekiel says she's doing great, living up to her name, running around 3 a.m. with a piece of string. I have a great connection. She knows who to come to when she's tired. Ezekiel has a new kitten. Psycho says, if you don't ask questions, you never learn. I can't say
You need a crotch cam.
Lazy Susan, best place to get them?
Not uncommon for me to use the turntable out of a microwave, but they have some good ones on Amazon. It all depends. But they also have them at a lot of ceramic supply stores, so I've gotten them from there also.
IKEA has a great Lazy Susan.
They do? That is good to know. It's probably not that expensive either.
What are you cutting?
This is a war pigeon mask, and we have a customer ordered one who actually watches a lot of the live videos.
Get a better camera, looks foggy. Does it look foggy to you guys?
When did it start looking? When at the very beginning of the video it looked foggy, and then I cleaned the lens, remember?
Have you ever thought about putting rubber bands in your beard like Captain Lou Albano?
No, that would be gross. I always thought Captain Lou Albano was kind of gross. I had even as a child, I thought, why does he have a children's cartoon show? That's really weird. Because Captain Lou Albano had a kid's cartoon on Saturday mornings.
When you flip the mold over to drain the latex out after it's dwelled, how long do you let it sit? I ended up having a couple of thick spots where it cooled.
Okay, so that question isn't easily answered because it depends on the mask. It has to drain in such a way where it will not pool up. So if it has like a big chin on it, you have to drain it in such a way where it comes out of the chin. Normally I try and drain every mask so it settles in the forehead on a half mask, and then I can pour it out of the edge of the mask from there. But if it's got pointed ears or if it has a long nose, you've got to let those areas drain. See how much waste is on this pigeon? Oh, I hate that, but that's how it pours up. That's almost a mask.
Have you ever had porcupine punch?
Not that I know of.
It's spiked. That's probably why you didn't have it. You don't drink.
That was a joke.
Oh. Ah! You're funny. Do you save your scraps and reuse them?
No, I chuck them because I make so many.
Trivia question. Which big toy was originally going to be used as the base for Beastman? And what did it end up being used as eventually?
There was a bear, and the original Beastman drawing, like the very first one, he was kind of like a bear man type thing. But I don't know as far as what Big Jim toy is supposed to be used for Beastman. I'm unaware of that.
Hello, Richard McGrath in England. Good morning. Still like the pig. Toxic Avenger had a kids cartoon.
Yes, he did.
Man, Bear, Pig. Pig 2 is awesome. Psycho Axeman says it's guts.
Yeah, a lot of people use their latex scrap as guts. Okay, while I was trimming that up, these guys dried.
Which one do you want next?
Now they get yeller. They get this real stark green.
At the time, Rock and Wrestling Albano turned face with Cyndi Lauper. That's why he was put on TV. The gorilla. Can you see the gorilla back there?
There is no gorilla back there. Oh, there was a gorilla that was going to be. He's answering the toy question.
That's,
I didn't know that they had a gorilla. And what was he eventually used for? I kind of felt He-Man jumped the shark when they came out with Rock On and Stone Dar, the warriors who transform into rocks.
Yep, it was Big Jim Gorilla who eventually became Grigor.
Aha, okay, that makes sense.
Are there any animals that people tend to have bigger ick factor or scare factor towards with masks?
Okay, you said animals first. Frogs are on the top 10 list of animal phobia animals, of course. Spiders are on that top 10 list. Worms are on the top 10 list because worms give you a nice side of infection phobia because of parasitic worms.
Canadian KE says, the answer is gorilla. I'm a motu collector. There's no shrimp in motu. We have an emoji. Remember the Tales from the Crypt Keeper cartoon?
I do remember that cartoon, yeah. I hadn't thought about that in a long time, but yes, I remember it and I had some of the toys from it. The Tales from the Crypt had a really nice, actually, you know what? I have one of them over here on my shelf. We're taking a walk. That gargoyle right there is a Tales from the Crypt gargoyle toy. And one of the first big things that I made and sold was I made a chess set. And it was all action figures that I super glued together. I super glued the action figures together into a standing up pose. And it was skeleton warriors. I used all of them. And I used a lot of the Tales from the Crypt guys. And I spray painted them, and I dry brushed one team gold and one side silver, and I made the chessboard, and that was like the first thing that I sold for good money. Good money, of course, back then was $150, and that was ridiculous expensive. I thought I robbed the guy, because I had like $30 in action figures in it. Because KB at the time had skeleton warriors super cheap.
I was watching your tutorial video archives and realized that we modified our drop panel after yours. Overdue things. Got lots of great scares from it.
Oh, drop panels are so wonderful. I love them. They really, and you can skin them so many different ways to make them, to change them and update them and move them around.
I still have 2 big totes full of the original Motu when I was a youngster.
Wow, that's awesome.
Because the pig looked like it could really be grotesque painted up, but worms emerging from the face would be gross.
Yes, yeah. And people don't like pigs. I kind of went off track of that. Well, lots of animals people don't like.
There were 2 Crypt Keeper cartoons like Duck. Also, Swamp Thing had a cartoon, and it was awesome.
For a while, the Universal Monsters had one called Monster Force.
Watch the toys that made us on Netflix. They have a good one on Masters of the Universe.
I have seen it. I've seen it.
Art Lady Blunzer says barbecue ribs, Larrington.
I like barbecue ribs.
Have an awesome skeleton warrior collection, says Ezekiel.
And another good toy line was Pirates of Dark Water. Anybody else remember those? Great cartoon. Real, like kind of ahead of its time. Good toy line.
My head armature broke from Monster Makers when demolding. What would you do to sculpt a mask without one of these? I was going to construct something with some scrap wood, newspaper, and wire.
Just start with a lump of clay and use calipers to get it to the right rough proportions. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't let anything stop you, you know?
Steve Hayes says, best tip for sculpting masks, where there is human eyes but still need for them to see clearly. The Hairy Beastie, just finished binge watching the new Creep Show series. Pretty good, Alan will probably like episode 2.
I did like them. And actually, a friend of mine helped write one of the episodes. The Man in the Suitcase was written by my friend Chris Buellman.
Obviously, I couldn't stay away. Hello, Thomas R. You said frogs. Wouldn't it be cool to have a mask with an actor-controlled tongue that launches out?
Yes, it would. And I have done it. You know those party blowers where they roll out and they make the noise? I just made a spot for one of those. The problem is with enough breathing vapor, they kind of got ruined, so we had to buy a bunch, and they would last about a night, and then we had to replace it. But that's okay. It was a real nice effect.
The best mask I ever bought from you was that Frankenstein.
Cool.
Psycho Axe. Oh my god, Monster Force was a blast from the past. 2 new Masters of the Universe cartoons are coming to Netflix.
I've heard about that. I hope that the animation style is not manga. I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah.
Was Skeleton Warriors connected to He-Man? My memory eludes me.
They were not, but they were the same size. So you could play with them. They had play compatibility, but they were not linked up. They were not in cahoots.
How many masks of Allen's do you own? That's a general question. Loved Pirates of Dark Water. Also, Gargoyles was my jam.
Oh yeah, Gargoyles was a great cartoon.
What are some of the best ways you disguise drop panels?
We did a Yeti-themed haunted house, and we put a drop panel at the highest point on Everest, and it was a sign. And we made it like a chalkboard. It says, "You've made it to the highest point on Mount Everest." And just as they're about to write their name and sign the board, the drop panel would drop. So they were concentrating as they were going in. You remember that, honey? So that was a fun one. You know, painting, portrait. We've done them with mirrors before. That's always fun. Yeah. Probably that Everest sign where they were about to sign their name.
Scott Hennessy sculpted a lot of those Skeleton Warrior figures. He also did a lot of the TMNT. And yes, loved Pirates of Dark Water. First cartoon where the morals of the protagonist were ambiguous.
Yeah.
Sculpting a skin pulling mask with fish with eyes covered, says Steve Haynes.
Okay, so I need more information because your last post that you read, that Shannon read out loud, it didn't really give me a lot of information. What you're saying is you're covering the actor's eyes. How can you let them see? You just got to be creative. Put some wrinkles in there, put some tension lines, and make them deep enough you can cut them out.
Do you ever get annoyed when you're painting and people keep asking questions?
You know what? No. I would much rather have that than have, 120 people on and no one's asking me anything. Because, I want to interact too. And I can't interact unless you guys start it. Because I don't have time to read what you're saying. So make my wife do it.
Some of the best cartoons were 80s. Lots of monsters. Wish there were more monster cartoons, man.
The world always needs more monsters. See, now these guys get nice, really that bright color that they need. And the yellow that's going on doesn't read as yellow. I'm putting on straight yellow, but I'm putting it on top of the green. And it's just translucent enough that you're getting this nice yellow green. Go ahead, honey.
I saw a gargoyle in your back room in one of your videos. It appears to be about 3 feet tall. Is that something you sell?
That's from Distortions. I have 2 distortions gargoyles because that was a very influential prop to me. The distortions gargoyle was a very influential prop to me when I was a youngster.
Thank you, Psycho Axeman.
For what?
Look on the screen.
That's for the wife. All right, now that's going to go to her head. She's just going to spend that on booze, okay? So she's just going to spend that on booze. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh my goodness.
Which I don't mind. If I was dating me, I'd drink too.
Did either of you watch or enjoy Little Monsters, Fred Savage, and Howie Mandel?
I did not see that when I was younger. I saw it actually a few years back, and yes, I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. I liked the whole under the bed world. That was nice. That's a good. Lots of things have done that, but I enjoy that trope.
Rob says no more smoothies. Ever thought about doing an evil, demonic Ninja Turtle style mask?
No, I haven't. But what's funny is the snowman helmet, before I decorate it, looks like a Ninja Turtle. I'll go grab one. I've got one put together, but nothing has been done on it.
Thank you, Horror Beauty.
What'd she say?
So you spend that on booze. You deserve it. Actually, I'll probably buy a plant.
Plants and wife likes plants and booze. Okay, this is the snowman mask before I decorate it. There's no eye holes in it, there's nothing, and it looks just like a Ninja Turtle head. I may one day just put together. What was the name of Slash, I think, was the snapping turtle, who was the bad guy Ninja Turtle? Slash, I think his name was. But yeah, this is the mask, Ninja Turtle.
Little Monsters was like the proto-monsters team.
It was, very much so.
Back to the gargoyle question. Is that something that you could have, that you could make or have made?
I've made gargoyles before, yes. Yeah, I mean, it's a flat back prop. It's actually pretty easy.
Stephen Hayes says, been using chopsticks to keep reference for the actor's eyes while smoking.
Okay. So you got to put some tension lines or something in there that goes deep enough. Or is it just skin? Because if you use fabric, you might be able to use a fabric that an actor can see through. I don't know.
Do you know anyone that's run into copyright issues selling unlicensed merchandise of characters from film and television?
Yes, I know 2 people who have. But most people do it and don't get caught. I'm pretty careful with it. I think I don't do a lot, but you just saw me do the wrong turn guys because I had a client who wanted them. All the Demigorgons I've done have been for license, though. I don't do a lot. I really like the clown design, hold your breath, from the Krampus movie. I really liked that design, so I made one of those. And then Trick or Treat got the license to make them, and I destroyed my mold because when I made it, no one else was making it, no one had the license. So I made it. And then Trick or Treat got the license and made them, so I didn't have to, so I broke my mold. Because they were doing it right. And if I'm doing it wrong, I don't want to profit from it. Okay, so these guys have all of their green on, and that's about as green as I want them to get. And honestly, it's 10:36. Let me go check out the other room. See if there's anything I need to do in here.
What kind of plant would I buy? I'm looking to buy some fruit trees, but I'm also probably going to buy some more vegetables or some herbs.
Fruit trees, vegetables, herbs.
Razor was the standard name.
Razor. Okay.
Alex, how much is the Gravedigger mask?
The full Gravedigger mask is $150. That's with the top hat and with the Jabbit collar. Dry. Yeah, all these guys I could pull. I could not pull these two. This one I could. Okay, good to know. It will be Werewolf Sunday tomorrow because you wanted a moving jaw. So yes, we can do that tomorrow. I will start that video about noon. And I will put together a moving jaw werewolf. And we'll start with mask. And then I have chest. Yeah, we can knock that out. That could be cool. Wife, it's that time of night. You have a question?
Well, let me finish up. My young son is hooked on Svengoolie. He says it's so retro.
Svengoolie is retro.
Scott says, but you're doing your interpretation of wrong turn characters, not a copy of the original. Is that illegal?
Yeah. If I am saying these are the characters from Wrong Turn that I made, then that's illegal. If I say these characters were inspired by Wrong Turn, I'm lying, and I don't want to do that. So there you go.
Are you on tomorrow noon or for your time?
I'll be noon my time, which is, wait, no. 2 in California is 4 my time, right? Yeah. So yeah, 4 o'clock my time, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. I'll go live earlier. I have more time for lunch. Thank you for helping me with time zones, whoever that was.
That was Scott Creighton's. That's for Werewolf tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll do the werewolf tomorrow about 4.
Lanny, hang on just a second. Let me find out for you. He's asking how much the shipping is on the Gravedigger. I don't know right offhand. I'd have to look on the website.
I think it's 35. My guess is 35. It's a big hat.
The hat makes it.
And we put the mask inside of the hat, and the Jabbit collar goes inside of the hat. So then we have to ship the hat, which is, it's a big hat.
Hang on just a second, Lanny. I can confirm that for you. I got 2 braided hibiscus and Hawaiian plants. Oh, hibiscus. Okay.
Chocolate plants.
Shannon, you're a lady after my own heart. Fruit trees and booze. I have some baby jackfruit trees if you'd like one. I don't think I can grow jackfruit here.
What kind of a YouTube channel is this?
Look.
I demand monster talk.
They're just asking me. Hang on a second. I'm still trying to get Lanny's information.
Lanny, it's on the website. You can look it up, bud.
Fruit trees. Shannon can make her own wine. Hooray.
We're really extending the goodbye here tonight, honey. Is there a question I can answer?
Scarlett Johansson sued a guy for making a companion doll that looked like her, so there is some legal gray areas.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're using something else's likeness, it's not your intellectual property. You didn't think of it, so you're stealing it.
How about they're just your interpretation of Wrong Turn?
Well, that's still kind of stealing. It depends. I mean, it's fuzzy, it's gray. Do they come after you most of the time? Most of the time, no. But sometimes they do.
Companion doll. That's a genteel term.
Yes, it is.
For a baby batter receptacle. No judgment. You have robots. Someday, I'm crossing my fingers. Your wife is doing her thing. Saying goodnight, or I say goodnight. What is shipping on the snowman mask?
You'll have to. It's on the website.
The snowman mask is not on.
It's not on the website yet, but when it is, we'll tell you what the shipping is.
Hang tight for me just a
Yeah.
second.
Although the way that it operates, she's a little behind on comments. So, and you guys were asking so many questions tonight. I don't want to leave without all the questions being answered.
35 for the Gravedigger, Lanny.
And my wife is being very diligent about looking for questions.
Okay. Brett, we'll get the information for you on the snowman. We got to get him up on the website too. Is a
Yes.
10 pound of Ultra Cal a good amount to make a one-piece mold?
No, 10 pounds is not enough.
Brett says,
I would go at least 25 pounds, at least.
Brett says he's getting a snowman next week. Brett, is that right?
Cool, okay, great.
Okay, guys. Sorry. Okay, final gargoyle question. How much for a flat back gargoyle?
Okay, do you want me to invent a product to sell you? Go look on distortionsunlimited.com, look at their website, look at their gargoyles. They have good gargoyles there for a reasonable price. If you don't like theirs, you don't think their prices are fair, then come back to me. Because someone already sells something like that. Now, I don't mind. Gargoyle is so generic, it doesn't matter. But since there's others out there, look at those and see if you like them. And then we'll see. Because I don't mind making it, but I want to make sure that it's going to be way faster if you just buy it from someone, Distortions.
Janek says, keep asking questions.
So, Mr. Hops, look at how red these eyes are. Mr. Hops is tired. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys very much. Good night, everybody. You are awesome. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Holy moly, thank you for all the super chats tonight. I appreciate that.
See you
And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll go live earlier than today. We'll go live about 4 o'clock.
Werewolf Sunday.
Maybe we'll stop at, we'll probably still stop at 10. Let's be honest. All right, guys, have a great night and go make stuff.